This is Judge Joe Brown, and we're listening to We All Be News. News-free Dixie for the 21st century.
We all be is honored to have on the one and only Councilman brother Wantwaz.
Wantwaz Davis.
Right, here to tell us about what's going on, the real deal, the 411 on FlINt right now as we speak, July 2016, July the 8th, 2016. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine, sir. Nice to meet you, and thank you for coming to my lovely abode.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to be able to have a quick dialogue.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to try to give you some good information that you can take back with you.
Yes, sir.
The beginning of this crisis started in 2013, if I'm correct. Well, it really started in 2012 when Ed Kurtz, who was the city emergency manager coming from the state, decided to come with this ideal or this notion that we should move to the FlINt River. Well, it wasn't put in place under his administration. Then eventually we got what you would call Darnell Early, which is another emergency manager that came in Ed Kurtz's stead down the line, and he decided to move us to the FlINt River. However, I admonished the emergency manager before the button was pushed and told him that I don't think that this is a good decision. I don't think it's a wise decision, because city of FlINt was moved off FlINt River and moved on Lake Huron in the 60s because of the pollution and the corrosion, well, the pollution that was in the water that came from all the auto factories that we have in the city of FlINt. Well, that issue was never resolved. And so why would you put us back on a situation that was never resolved, that once moved us from that situation because it was a hazardous to our condition, to our life and our welfare? So why would you move us back on there? However, he so decided to do it anyway and ordered the mayor, which is Dan Walling, to push the button. The day that they pushed the button, they celebrated in the water plant. I decided to cause friction at the water plant, and I told them that this is not a good decision, and I was the only elected official in the building that wouldn't toast and pick up a cup and toast as if we did something wonderful or spectacular. I told them only way I would grab any water and raise it in the air, it has to be a bottled water, because right now this is going to be a problem for the residents down the line. However, I protested right after that. I conducted 6 protests and 1 march. And I admonished everybody I could. And I tried to bring awareness as strong as I could that this wasn't a good decision, and I tried to caution people to not drink the water once we moved to the FlINt River. Well, my alarming and my voice went on deaf ears. I even made allegations against the governor. If you can look it up on MLive, you can Google it up. I made allegations against the governor that he were attempting to create a genocide, him and the emergency manager. However, I'm the only one that the governor responded to. And when he responded, he said that I was creating, making remarks that was incendiary, which means I'm trying to amplify the fear in people, you know. And he said that the water meets state and federal regulations. I also predicted in that allegation that children will be ill affected 5 and 10 years down the line, and it may cost them their lives, and it may depreciate the sustainability of their lives. I mentioned all that. Lo and behold, everything that I mentioned and I predicted, or you can say prophesied, it came out to be exactly. But everything that I said went on deaf ears. However, people think that this is against African Americans because 59% of the people that live in FlINt are African Americans. Well, I beg the difference. This is a war against poverty, a war against poor people. Because poor people are the only ones that has no recourse, has no alternative, but to continue to stay here and just be captivated by the water crisis. People with money can easily just leave. 42% of the people that live in FlINt are living in poverty. 40% read below a 6th grade level, and 40% or more has felonies on their record. This is a war against those 340s. They want to move those 340s out instead of remedying the problem or correcting the problem. They prefer to run those 340s out and make this a college city. Well, they're failing that too. FlINt is an industrialized city. It's predicated and founded on the auto industry. Auto is not here, but mass production can be here. You can't turn an industrialized city that's built and founded off auto industry and make it a college city when you got those 340s. That's why whenever you talk about a situation, you must talk about it in a mathematical way. Because math, when you talk about it mathematically, then you can easily solve the equation and solve the problem. Well, I just mentioned the 340s. And if that's a true statement, which it is, then how can we make this a college city when 40% of the people that live in here read below a 6th grade level? So what is the best alternative to do? Run them out of here. And that's what this is about. It may not have been the intentions, but since it hit the way it hit, they said just let them go, run them out of there. And so that's the problem we're suffering from right now. We have no tax base in the city of Flint. We have no jobs in the city of Flint. And if you look around my city, we are poverty-stricken, and it's the resemblance of that poverty-stricken moment that we're suffering from right now. But the whole gist of this water crisis is to run the low, moderate income people out this city. Whites, blacks, Hispanics, Chinese, Japanese, whoever you are, if you're living in poverty, they don't want you here no more. And that's what this is about.
I know you talked about recently with somebody else about the mayor situation. Like a lot of people don't want to scapegoat her as the reason why the Flint water crisis.
Well, she's not the reason why the water crisis is in existence, but she may be the reason why it's sustainable.
Okay. And why is that? Like, what reason would you give for that, or reasons?
There's no fixture. She fixed 33 pipes.
Okay.
And we got 15,000 that needs to be fixed. Water and sewer service lines needs to be fixed. But we got a 700-mile pipe that needs to be fixed in its fullest entirety. Now 700 miles, that's a lot of pipe that needs to be replaced. But what she did, she fixed one house on one street in one geographical area, went into another geographical area and fixed one house over there, and went to another one and fixed another house. How bad and embarrassing does that look? It's a waste of time and a waste of money, because you fix one house on the street, there's all the other houses not fixed, and they all connected to the main pipe. So the house that you fixed, it don't mean nothing, because the houses that's not fixed, their lead gonna travel and contaminate your new pipes. So why would you do that? That all was an illusion, a smoke screen to blow up in people's face, to make people think that she moving this city forward, but she moving us backwards. And I'm just tired of it. I'm really tired of it. I really am.
So what's the situation with the water for the people? Can y'all use the water for yourselves?
You can't use the water for nothing. You shouldn't even use the water to wash your car, but I do.
Wow.
But you shouldn't.
So let me ask you this. We got President Obama, he's still in office, right?
Yes, he is.
And you got all this stuff that happened this week alone with police brutality and things with black people. Do black lives really matter? Black
lives do matter.
Okay.
It always mattered. It always mattered. Through the police brutality, yeah, that's when black lives matter. But under our water crisis, Flint lives matter. But black lives do matter when it comes to police brutality. But when it comes to a water crisis, which is the hardest hit area ever in the country, in the history of America, and if you got people going over in Africa, fixing problems over in Africa, trying to get them quality water, then hey, we live right here in America. But see, the mayor didn't reach out to the right people, because she didn't want to reach out to the right people. If you reach out to the right people, which I would have done, I would have reached out to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. At that particular time, if the President of the United States would have the opportunity and sit down and speak to you, which he did, then there's no excuse why you couldn't reach out to Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and sit down with Bill Gates and say, hey, if you're spending all these billions of dollars over in Africa to fix their problem when it comes to quality of water, then fix ours. But you know what? If they would have done that, then there wouldn't have been no funds coming through this city that could have been misappropriated and pocketed, because Bill Gates would have fixed it on his own money and say, I'm gonna just send the engineers in there and fix it, and I pay it on my own tab. See, that would have prevented all of the corruption. But whenever you got a situation like this, the same way they had in Katrina in New Orleans, it's breeding ground for corruption. And that's what this is about. This ain't about fixing the problem. This is about people pocketing their pockets with money and trying to get contracts, construction contracts, towing contracts, garbage contracts. That's what the mayor's been focusing on. She's been focusing on contracts for her and her friends. Construction contracts, garbage contracts, towing contracts. But people need to be asking, what about the infrastructure? You know, it's just sad. It's a sad moment for Flint, and it's even more embarrassing when we still stuck at this level where we were at in the beginning, and the only thing we can ever say that we've done is fix 33 pipes, which, and to me, that's not a fixture, because you still got other homes on that street that has not been fixed, and the home that is fixed, it's not safe.
So should somebody be held on criminal charges for what's going on, and who?
Well, I don't know if people should be held on criminal charges, but I think that there should be a thorough investigation. But from what I hear, the feds is here, the Federal Bureau of Investigation are here. And so they need to be here, and they need to stay here until this problem is corrected, because this ain't nothing but a breeding ground of corruption. That's all it is.
So you got anything you'd like to add to our, you know, like the...
I just want people to know, as an elected official, a government official in my city, that I've done everything I could and going to continue to do even more if I can to bring alarm and awareness to the problem that we suffer from. And people need to know this all through FlINT. Be mindful of the people that you elect in office, because they'll tell you one thing and their actions conflict with what they told you in the beginning. I stayed front. I've been transparent and honest from the first day that I got elected. And I've been fighting for this city ever since. Yes, I did 20 years in prison and got elected. Yes, I did. But everybody that God took favor in, from Paul, who used to be Saul and killed and murdered every Christian he can see, Joseph and David and all the rest of them were murderers. But God took favor in people like that. Why? Because he loved to play in the field of nothing. See, when you held under those allegations or held under those convictions of a murderer, that means you're considered in the minds of the people as a nothing. But that's the field that God plays with. He turns something out of nothing. He don't make something from something. He makes something out of nothing. And that's what he did with me. And he also states in the Bible that I use the foolish things to confound the wise. Well, I'm one of them. I'm a great example of that. And so until people realize of the mercy of God that got me in this position, because it's unheard of that a man will go to prison convicted of a murder and get elected in government a year after he off parole. What would he know about the city and been gone 20 years? But see, when God got his hands on something, you know, it confuses what? The wise. Because God sees something greater in that. And I done got in office and tried to move this city forward from day one, and I done prophesied and predicted 2 major catastrophes, and they didn't listen, and look where we at now.
So hopefully one day you could be mayor.
I'm going to run for mayor again. Soon as she get recalled or it's time for re-election, I'm coming for her seat, because she shouldn't have never been in that seat.
Well, Brother David, I want to thank you so much. In the words of the great Duke LT, we love you madly. Thanks for being a great public servant to the people. Keep on producing and pushing.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming to my house, brother.